The original budget for the Iraq War was something like 80 billion. The 87 billion Bush is requesting for operations in Iraq and Afghanistan is additional. And if we're all familiar enough with our government to know that spending won't stop there, if, as it seems likely, we spend 200 billion before we're through, that would amount to more than $800 for each tax-paying American. Not many of us are happy to come up with that. Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Hey, Derek, what's going on?
Wow, hey, what's going on, Thomas? I heard you were talking about the Iraq War. According to the Department of Defense, the spending on the Iraq War totaled at least $757 billion. So you were talking about 80 billion. It's almost 10 times that.
80 billion, the original figures that were quoted to Andy Rooney in Andy Rooney's book, Out of My Mind.
Hey, well, it's about that time. It's Wednesday around 3 p.m. here on the East Coast. We should do a Bitcoin talk show.
I think I noticed something. What's this going on over here? Could it be the price of Bitcoin is up?
Finally, for 1 week, it is. I don't know what the news what to attribute that. Apparently, there was some big shot investor who was like, he owns a hedge fund, and he said Bitcoin should be worth $1 million a coin. So everyone ran out and bought themselves some Bitcoin, which is very easy to do if you have a Bitcoin machine, which I see beside you. Beside me is Ian Freeman. He was maintaining a Bitcoin machine today in the Porcupine Thrift Store at 101 Deals here in Keene, New Hampshire. And tell us a little bit about the Bitcoin machine that you've got, Thomas. What are we looking at there beside you?
It's a Skyhook Bitcoin ATM, and right now it's giving me some kind of battery symbol, and I don't know that the charger, I don't know that the tablet inside there is charged. It might need some kind of tablet charging time. Oh, there it is. And I've also got a Piper paper wallet.
Oh, well, I think this is hilarious because every time I see one of these Skyhook machines, now I like them. I'm on Team Skyhook. Go for it. Open source. They're only $1,000, and they allow anyone to insert bills and get out Bitcoin. But they're clunky. They have a lot of problems, as you experienced today. Ian, tell us about your experience.
Okay, so I purchased the Skyhook through the Shire Free Church, and we've located it at this store. And I've had some experience with it prior to that because we took it out to the county fair, and we're trying to do some outreach and explain what Bitcoin is to people and that kind of thing, and use it as essentially an outreach tool. That's basically what this is what's the reason why it was purchased, not as a money-making thing, simply because we're in Keene, New Hampshire. It's not exactly the same as being in Manhattan, where maybe you actually have a constant flow of interest for Bitcoin. And so the idea was, well, let's get the Bitcoin concept out to people. And I think that the Skyhook effectively does that when it's operational and it's working well. And most of the time, it does what it's supposed to do. But every now and then, the software will crash. There will be some sort of a network error. The blockchain API that interfaces with blockchain.info won't be working correctly, so the machine can't communicate, and therefore it doesn't know if there's any Bitcoin in the account that you're using to sell the Bitcoin. The thing with the Skyhook machine, and I believe one of the reasons why it's only $1,000 as compared to, say, the Llamasu or some of the other units out there, is that you can't connect it, at least at this time, you can't connect it to some sort of an exchange. So you can't use the Skyhook for doing anything besides selling your own Bitcoin.
Well, that should make it simpler, right? Like
it is.
Fewer working pieces so you can troubleshoot easier and figure out what's going wrong. It seems like it would be an easier tool to work with.
It is a simpler device because of that, yes. But again, it is. It may still be in beta, as far as I know right now. Anybody buying a Skyhook is probably considered an early adopter. When you purchase one of these things, they ship it to you, but there's no instructions. I mean, there's a very basic kind of getting started, but there's no. When I say there's no instructions, there's no service guide. There's no information on how to actually get into the unit physically, because the first thing I thought of when I was unboxing this thing and looking at it and putting it sort of through its testing phase was, well, eventually if this thing moves enough money through its bill receiver, their bill validator machine, that thing's going to get dirty. I mean, money's dirty. Everybody knows that. And you pass enough of it through that machine, it's going to gunk up the mechanisms in there. And I'm thinking, all right, well, how do I clean this thing? And it's pretty difficult to get into this this device. There's not a lot of room to move around. So on the positive side, the Skyhook is the smallest Bitcoin vending machine you can buy that I've seen. The Lamasu's is relatively small. The Skyhook's even smaller. And so the trade-off for having a cool, sleek, small machine is you would have to be a small child in order to really be able to get your hands into this machine. Now, I am a very skinny person, but it was very difficult to, get my hands down in there to try to get these bolts on and, get to remove, because what I wanted to do is take the machine apart to remove the Nexus 7 that is mounted in its front. That was what I was trying to do first and foremost today, because I thought, well, I want to put a screen protector on this. And I didn't even realize. I should have realized, because the screen protector has a matte finish to it. I should have realized it already had a screen.
Yeah, it doesn't have a matte finish.
Right,
so,
I didn't realize that, and so I went there trying to remove the Nexus 7.
But that's something you would have known if there were instructions.
If there were some sort of detailed service guide or whatever. So I'm thinking, all right, great, I'm going to take this thing out, I'm going to put a screen protector on it. I finally get to remove these bolts.
Yeah.
And I push up on the unit to try to get it out of where it was. It's like, it's sticking, and I'm thinking, wait, they didn't glue this to the front, did they? That would have been a really bad idea. And no, they didn't glue it. What it was actually stuck to a screen protector that apparently was mounted in the very front panel of the unit. Now, I didn't remove the Nexus at that point because I was already causing bubbles to appear in the existing screen protector. I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to do this. And then I was concerned that if I remove the Nexus, the screen protector is still going to be sitting there in the front of the unit, which would make it impossible to actually reach my hand into the front of the unit to further service the unit. So it would seem like if you wanted to actually service the unit, now I could be wrong about this. I'm not an expert with the Skyhook. I'm just a user. It would seem like you'd have to remove the Nexus 7 and then cut out the screen protector,
like with a knife.
Yeah.
You really have to perform surgery on this machine.
I'm guessing, unless there's some other way to get into this thing. I mean, I don't know how, if you can show the camera, if you can get a decent shot of this.
Yeah, I was just doing a bit of a screen share here so we can see the website. This is the main website for the Bitcoin ATM.
There's no support section. You can email them, and when I first got the machine, again, my first thought was, all right, how do you service the bill validator, which of course is all the way at the bottom of the unit.
That's this section here. And
it's next to impossible to actually access it, and you have to remove it from the unit in order to actually clean this thing. Now, and the response to me was fast. They came back quickly, got back to me quickly. But recently I sent them another tech support email, and I haven't heard back, and it's been over a week. So, I mean, maybe the guy's in the hospital. No, I don't want to jump to conclusions or whatever. It seems like a small operation. Right. I think it's just the one guy. His name's John. I could be wrong about that too. There's not a lot of information about who's behind the project.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery here. I took some video of you assembling and setting up the Skyhook, getting the features all set a few weeks ago, and posted those videos to YouTube. Was contacted by several people who in the comments section said, hey, thank you for displaying your cell phone number. I wanted to be able to call and ask someone for tech support because, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I have a little bit of experience, but I would like to see that, if you're someone out in the Bitcoin space who's thinking every area is covered, everyone already jumped on board, and the exchanges and the bots and selling hardware. No, there's still this untapped market of ATMs or vending machines.
Yeah, I like the term vending machine personally. Yeah. I know they call it an ATM, but it doesn't spit money out of it. It sells Bitcoin, right. And to me, that's what a vending machine does. It sells something to you for cash.
I think that makes it clearer for the customers too. When they're like, well, how do I get Bitcoin? I'm like, well, you could get it through a vending machine.
I would call the RoboCoin, and there's right. Another one. Those out there do those I consider Bitcoin vending machines. But so it's been a mixed bag. I mean, my experience with Skyhook, the price is great, the product works.
Right.
I'd like to have it easily accessible to get into it, but I understand that the reason why this thing is welded together is because it needs to be hardened against theft. So
but I mean, there's got to be some sort of engineering balance between keeping it, safe from theft and also easy to operate and maintain.
It'd be nice to be able to go inside of this thing, flip a couple of levers, and pull off a side panel to be able to get access to what's going on in there.
A side panel, of course. Like, why not? Wouldn't that just make it easier?
But it would probably make it easier to break into it at the same time.
One of the things
Thomas has just been listening to all this. He's got one of these things. I'm curious to know what he thinks of it.
Yeah, what do you think, Thomas?
Well, I think mine's worked fine. What happened to yours, Ian, that you wanted to clean it? Was there something going bad, or?
Well, the bill validator is really picky. I don't know if you've had that problem. Mine is very, very picky, and I suspect it was in a construction zone for a very short period of time. I don't think it was long enough for it to really have collected any significant amount of dust or construction residue inside it, but it certainly could have. And eventually, when I emailed them, he was like, "Oh, you don't have to clean this." Well, wait a minute. If you put enough dirty money through this bill validator, at some point you're going to have to clean it. So to me, it was more of an experiment of, well, I wanted to take this Nexus out and put a screen protector on it. Turns out it already has one. And so I figured, well, if I'm going to go and take this thing apart, which is a huge pain, then I might as well take it all the way apart to at least learn how to do that, clean out the bill validator, and go through that maintenance process. It was the first thing I wanted to do when I got the unit. Was like, oh, I want to know how difficult this is to actually service, because at some point, mechanical things will break down on you, and irregular cleanings aren't a bad thing if it were an easy thing to do. At this point, I'm bewildered. I am not sure what the best way to take this thing apart is, and the only option for support at this point appears to be a Reddit. There's a Reddit group where the founder will post to the Reddit group. He, in fact, posted updated firmware for this thing that doesn't appear on their GitHub page. Now, the GitHub is the way they get the the firmware, supposedly the way they distribute the firmware, but they just put the firmware on the Reddit group, and there's no link to the Reddit group on their website. So it's like you got to dig to find the technical support for this. What little that there is, it's really it really is sort of like a new horizon of technology. There's no real support there, and I guess what do you want for $1,000?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking here for the Reddit page where the Bitcoin ATM creator answers Reddit/Bitcoin's question.
Yeah, that's not it. So the Skyhook has its own Reddit.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah, Project Skyhook has its own Reddit. That's where there's actually some level of a community of owners of these things, and maybe somebody's already put together some help files. I did get successfully from the guy who runs Skyhook. He did send me details on the bill validator, so I have the maintenance instructions for the bill validator. But how the hell you get that bill validator out of there? I mean, I'm bewildered by it. I have no idea. And again, I'm not a real handy person. I can build a computer, but when I'm building a computer, I've got the side panel off of a case, and it's easy to access. This is a challenge.
Well, people need to jump in and help this guy somehow, because it seems
help
like
the
he's
guy making these, you mean?
Head. Yeah, look at one of these Reddit posts. It's titled, "If Twitter and Reddit are the official communication channel, can you add it prominently to your website and maybe remove your email from there?"
Right.
So it's pretty much useless as getting a reply. Like, wow. It's on one hand, I really want to applaud this guy for being the first to market, being brave enough to be out there and saying, I'm going to put my product out there. It might be risky. There might be government people saying, I want to put you in a cage for that. But he's willing to do it. But now he needs help. He needs other people to step in and be support or something, or he needs to ask for help.
Maybe he's on vacation. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why.
Or there need to be competitors.
There are competitors though, Llama-Su
but there's no open source competitor. Llama-Su.
They claim, aren't they saying they're going to open source? Maybe I missed.
Skyhook does plan to open source their software, so they would be creating their own competitors.
Skyhook has not yet done that, have they?
I don't think they have, but they plan to.
So then no one has.
Maybe they have, because there's another video on the Reddit for this Project Skyhook where a guy shows he's made his own software
Sure. Well, Chris Franco from Franco Coin has
for.
adapted the Skyhook so that it'll take Franco coins, and I think there's also a project to do the same with Doge.
So somebody's made their own firmware for this, and I presume that's because they've modified the existing firmware. And the one they're displaying here in this video seems better. Like they're saying it's a faster interface. Skyhook with more responsive interface is the name of the video, and it seems like they've nailed it. So I'd like to know how to get a copy of this. I'd like to be able to try a different version of this software that might work better, that may crash less often. Again, I'm not disappointed. I want to make it clear. I'm not disappointed by the Skyhook.
So you're not complaining. You're not just going to the. You're going to say, "I'm."
Well,
giving up.
first of all, you asked me to come on the show today, and you also asked
because
while
I
was.
saw you messing with this thing for hours.
No,
today.
it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long. It was more than an hour and a half or an hour.
How many hours have you sunk total into maintaining this thing?
Not much. Not much maintenance at all.
Okay.
I mean, I've just been more
my
curious
perception.
as to how it works.
You're tinkering. You're just trying to figure out.
Because I want to be able to fix it if something goes.
I don't know. I think the first thing to start off is this is a can of duster, so just dust off the little area down there, and you don't have to take it apart. That's what I would say. Until it breaks, you don't have to take it apart.
Well, it hasn't broken, right? What's the status of the machine right now?
It's operational.
So people can use it in the store.
Yeah, I mean the duster is a good idea. I didn't even think of that. So that's why I'm saying I'm not a technical wizard at this kind of thing. Even though I have the ability to put my own computers together, if I don't have instructions as to how best to approach something, then I'm kind of in the dark.
I get that. Now, how?
And it wouldn't take the guy more than an hour, right? Like if you
really
built
wouldn't.
this machine and well, these bolts go in first, and then you take those out, and then here's the order of operations to take this thing apart.
You'd be saving the world hours of labor trying to figure this stuff out for themselves.
Yeah, because somebody could figure it out, sort of reverse engineer it, and then write some instructions, but the guy who's made this, he could spend an hour writing some brief instructions. Somebody else could even do the graphics for it, and
the local thrift store here in Keene.
So I took it to the county fair, and we had it out there for 5 days at the county fair. It was more of an outreach, general outreach, like we're handing out these flyers we've made here in the Keene area, sort of a basic kind of Bitcoin introduction flyers with some text from weusecoins.com. Right. Very, very simplified version of their text. And so that was the main thrust, was to just get the Bitcoin concept out into people's heads that were coming by the table. I would say it was successful at that. We ran out of the flyers that we had. We had to do a quick and dirty print job of like several hundred more. We went through those, so
Excellent.
We probably went through close to 1,000 flyers during that time frame.
Were you just handing them out to every person, or
anyone who would take them?
Okay.
Just kind of pitching, asking if they'd heard of Bitcoin or if they have any Bitcoin yet. And then just so the holy grail of this outreach booth was, you didn't come out, did you?
I did not.
Okay. So the holy grail of this outreach booth was to find someone who, had a smartphone, would install a wallet, and then would actually buy Bitcoin from the machine.
And did anyone do that?
The first day, within the first hour, we had someone do that, but not for the rest of the time unless I gave them $1. So there were a couple people.
You had to buy them out.
There were a couple people who were interested enough to be willing to, install the wallet, but they were, I don't have any money. One of those things.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So I'll buy you some Bitcoin. I'll buy you $1 worth of Bitcoin. And I probably should have led with that. It probably should have been just the whole pitch of the booth was free Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah.
And then just give everybody who comes up $1 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah, what the hell?
But I waited on the $1 offer until somebody was like, I don't have $1.
Okay, live and learn. So next time, free Bitcoin. What about you, Thomas? Have you brought this to some of your local meetups? Have people used the Skyhook?
We did take this to our meetup at the local pizza place, and this was the first time the pizza place owner was interested in our meetup. He came over to check out the machine. He installed the wallet on his phone. He gave us $1. We put it in as a test, he could try out the Bitcoin. And yeah, I totally changed it. And if you want, we can try it out right now.
Yeah, let's see how it works.
It's working. So let's see. I found some money. Actually, I found the money inside the machine.
$500. What is your rate on that?
Oh, I think I have it set not to sell under $500. It's an old optimistic machine from when times were better. I haven't changed the firmware or whatever yet, so it's set where it is. But here we push the print button on the Piper Wallet printer, and this is going to print a paper wallet for us here, right here.
Okay, sweet. And so with that paper wallet, you'll have a private key and a public key pair, both on QR code.
Yep, right now it's printing the public key, and then that next going to print the private key.
Okay. Are you going to show the whole world your private key?
I'm going to try not to.
Alright. Yeah, because I imagine some of the viewers could just pull your Bitcoins off as soon as you purchase them.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Why don't you give them away?
They would be smart. So now here's one of the tricks here. Everyone always holds the paper up to the camera down here, this image. It's actually the camera up here. So that's an irony there. So
it would be nice if you flip it somehow or put the image thing a little bit higher, closer to the camera.
Well, one of the things that would solve that would be some sort of a sticker up at the top, like indicating that this is the camera, or having some kind of basic instructions on the machine for people and to more better understand how to use it.
Yeah, if I was going to take it outside, I would put a sticker on it, like scan here or something. Let's see.
I was thinking machines might be converted into something bigger. Like if you had a file cabinet. I was looking at a file cabinet and thinking like it would be so much easier to maintain if you could just lock and unlock this file cabinet. If you didn't need like ultimate security.
Yeah.
I mean, at the store, this thing's bolted into a table or a desk, or will be.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So, Thomas, you made a good point. Spraying this thing out with duster would be a good way to keep, general dust out of it. But if you want to lock this sucker down to a desktop, boy, you're going to have to take this thing apart. If you open it up, you look in the top, there's no way to get at the bolts that are at the very, very bottom of this. You might be able to get 2 of the bolts off if you had a really long kind of ratchet set.
Yeah.
Like you could pretty easily reach 2 of the 4. But you've got to pull all 4 off to be able to really properly mount this thing to a tabletop.
So there's no way you can do that without taking the guts out.
You have to take the entirety of the guts out of this unit to be able to mount it somewhere permanently.
Even with the mounting kit, like it had this...
I did get the mounting kit. That's what I'm referring to. So yeah, this thing here with the huge bolts, that goes. You've got to pull the existing bolts off the bottom of the unit to be able to attach that. So
and you have to do that from the inside.
There's no other way to do it. And so in order, okay, so that seems like now that's like a secondary mounting option, right? Like so, if you could take 1 of the 4 bolts off the bottom, which you could do, I think, without taking all the guts off, it'd be a pain, but I think you could do it. Then you could mount that that cable that Thomas just showed.
Yeah.
You could mount that to one of the bolts and then tie it to something else to sort of just give the machine like a bike lock style quality.
But someone could just sniff that if they wanted to.
Yes, they certainly could. It's a very, very bare minimum of protection. If you want to actually...
I don't see the value in having a machine that's so small. Why's it got to be so small? It's not even that small. So why not make it a little
sleek.
bigger and easier to maintain? Yeah, it's
sleek. It's cool. It's futuristic. I mean, you want your futuristic things to be small. I mean, those RoboCoins are ridiculous. They look like an arcade cabinet.
They look really stupid. I agree with you. But if they could get somewhere in between the Lamassu size and the Skyhook size, I'm not talking huge.
There's not that much of a difference between the Lamassu and the Skyhook, really. I mean, Lamassu is maybe 2 or 3 times the width of the Skyhook.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that's all it takes.
I think the Lamassu would be easier to service as a result.
You got to be able to put your hand inside of it.
But again, what do you want for $1,000? I mean, maybe
some space for my hand to service the thing. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Well, the Skyhook or the Lamassu's like what, $6,000 now?
What?
They used to be 4.
Yeah,
they started at 4 and they went up to 6.
Good. Well, I'm glad the demand is there. Any other thoughts on the Skyhook machine, Thomas or Ian? Or move on to
like
the
I
crazy
said,
price
I
increase
think it's a
today.
cool thing. I'm really excited about the idea that it's open source. Like, I want to get access to this other dude's software so I can put that on it and see which one works better. I love the idea that you can switch out the software. How many people are actually working on that software is another question. I don't imagine there are too many of them. But I think, a possible future for the Skyhook, and maybe there's somebody listening to Bitcoin Talk Show that has the chops for this. I sure don't. I don't know. I mean, I took some programming classes in high school, but I'm not a programmer today.
Right.
And, in theory, because this is supposedly open source, and where you get the source, I think it's their GitHub maybe, but because it's open source, in theory, somebody could write some software that actually interfaces with an exchange. Because I'd prefer to not sell my own personal Bitcoin in this machine, which is what I'm doing right now. Again, just as sort of an outreach, give people the chance to get some Bitcoin kind of thing. I'm more than willing to do it. But if there was an option to be able to hook up to BTCE or whatever other exchanges there are out there, as you can do with the Llama machine.
And with them, you can choose any exchange you want, right?
I think so. I don't know. I have not, ever configured one of those. But
does it actually link to the exchange, or does it just use their price?
No, I
you
believe
mean the
it
Llama
links up. I think you have to have an account.
You can do it either way. So the Llama you can load up your own Bitcoin and sell that.
Yeah.
Or you can link to an exchange and then directly.
But you link to an exchange that you personally have. Like, you have to already have an exchange.
I would guess you would have an account there,
yeah,
most likely.
It would use that personal account or whatever.
But at least then you're not burning through your own personal Bitcoin collection.
Right.
But I love the thing. I think otherwise it's a good product. It's just, nothing's perfect.
We had customers use it. People occasionally come in and they'll buy Bitcoin, like, I thought I'd come in and get some today, but they already know it's there. They're already sort of like Liberty people, and they're interested in Bitcoin. Yesterday there was our first sale of the day. Guy comes up to buy some stove or something, and $7, no big deal. Decides he's going to pay in Bitcoin instead of cash or credit card, and I'm like, wow, all right, cool. Yeah, I pretend like
someone we don't know.
Yeah, this is some guy I have no clue who he is, where he came from, or what he's into. But he saw that Bitcoin was an option, said I'd like to pay in Bitcoin. I'm like, that's cool. Our QR code was right on the table, so he could just scan it. And I heard, beep-a-doop, the blockchain app, like, oh, you've sent some Bitcoin. So I knew it had gone through, and that was it. I drew up a customary old-style receipt, but I could see up on the screen that the address of our store had received payment in the amount of about $7, and he was on his way. It was definitely the fastest form of payment.
You don't have to make change.
No change, and it's the cleanest form of payment because we didn't have to touch anything. Like, he holds on to his phone. He doesn't
For germaphobes, Bitcoin.
It is for I'm sort of a germaphobe. I don't like to handle cash. I think it's filthy. I don't even like to handle credit cards because people are handing them off all day, different people swiping into gas station places. It's gross. I don't want to be a part of that. So Bitcoin, no touching. It's very nice. It's to pay from a distance.
But yet you clean the bathroom at the Bitcoin Talk Show studios.
That's true. I do. So
can't be too much of a germaphobe if you're cleaning
gloves,
the bathroom.
But anyway, thank you for explaining the Skyhook machine. I like
it's an adventure.
I like that you put it out there, that it's there for people to use.
That's the purpose of it. Like I said, it's not to make money. It's just to get Bitcoin into people's hands. Yeah. There is a percentage that the machine does charge because the machine costs money, right? So recouping that is an important thing to do over time, and it will take a while to recoup that, I think. But otherwise, I'm happy with it. I'm just looking forward to seeing what other people come out with for it.
Yeah, maybe some add-ons, some different features once they make it open source, or even a case that would look attractive. Like if they have, how they have cases for laptops where you can snap things on. Like, it would be kind of cool to have an instruction sheet that you could just snap onto the front, and it's like, cameras at the top, insert bills, like a little 1, 2, 3. This is how you use the machine. Because right now it's sort of like you have to rely on this screen to tell you each step, but it would be nice to have it right on the machine. Anyway, just some thoughts to whoever's listening. If you have one of these Skyhook machines, or if you've maintained one, I want to know. And we need to build some sort of repository where people are bringing their info about these.
Right now, the Reddit is what you got. And if you've got a Skyhook and you're not on that subreddit, you're going to get anything. And
Plus,
that's going to be from the other users.
Hopefully we'll find the one with this more responsive interface soon too. What's the problem with the interface? You're just saying it's too slow? With the one that you have currently? It's just not snappy?
It's not.
Okay.
You know, Thomas, I don't know what your experience has been with it, but this video of the guy with a more responsive interface he's programmed, it looks impressive. I mean, it's not choking at any point. It moves pretty snappily, and I mean, anything can be improved.
That was faster than what I have seen on the Skyhook machine.
I'm going to have to try Thomas's master and see if that
I hope
makes
that
that
works.
bill validator. I mean, Thomas, have you had? Is it you know, really picky with your bills that you put in there? Like, I've found that, first of all, it doesn't like stamped bills. We like to stamp our bills around here with website URLs and things like that. It does not like stamped bills. But one of the nice things about it is you can put the bill in any direction. So
that is good.
A lot of bill accept.
Well, that's nice, but it's also confusing. I think it's just as well to tell people to put the bill in one direction rather than complicate things with this multi-direction thing.
But if it doesn't work one way, you can try 3 other ways, and sometimes the other turns, the other directions of the bill will work, whereas it didn't work the first way.
Especially if it's stamped or something.
Like, I can say what's been nice here so far is that the new blockchain wallet app allows you to just go to scan private key, and you can import a paper wallet. So I just went ahead and imported these wallets I found around here.
Oh, that's cool.
And now it's already like, even the dollar that it's sending will like get sent back to my normal wallet. So I'll just go ahead and print out another paper wallet, and I found a stack of some money here. So we can keep trying this thing if you want to see if it'll.
That's funny. That's quite nice.
So that's cool that the blockchain has put that feature in their app now.
So I can do that on my phone?
Yep, you can just go right to when you're looking at the wallets on your phone, you just go to scan private key at the bottom, at least in the iOS version, and it just imports the paper wallet. What's nice about that is
thing with the
when you're
there's a pretty big design difference between the two.
When you're doing a demonstration and you want to like import some Bitcoin immediately, you can't wait for the machine to send it to them. But if you use a paper wallet, it'll import immediately. It'll just come right in.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know. We were just looking through the Android
don't
version. I don't know if they put that in their most recent Android version, but there's a big difference between the iPhone and the Android version of blockchain.
I like the Airbits wallet now anyway. Thomas, are you using the Airbits wallet now all the time? That's what I use.
I've tried it out. I'm going to try to get more into it. I need to spend some money into it.
Blockchain wallet. I'm all Airbits now because they use the beautiful.
They've got the map thing down on the
have you seen
Airbits.
this? How they have pictures of the local businesses that accept Bitcoin.
Did you guys get the store on there yet?
All right, scanning.
CoinMap,
Yeah,
right?
just go to coinmap.org, and then there's instructions there on how to add. It's not a very complicated thing.
I'll do that.
All right, so what do we got here? He's putting money in, or still waiting on the...
Still trying to scan scan the QR code.
So why? So it's having trouble scanning the QR code? Has this happened before? Or just too
I'm
much?
not left-handed, so it's like a left-handed issue. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I got the QR code. Is this your address? Yes.
Okay. So what you're doing is importing a private key, meaning there's a wallet that already likely has some money on it, or you just printed up this private key?
I just printed up that wallet from the Piper.
Okay.
Okay, so I try to import the bill that direction. It doesn't really go. So Ian's got a good point on that. Okay.
Yes, it's a picky bastard. I was talking with the guys from Lamasu, and they claim their bill validator is a better unit. Now, that was the same bill, right? Did you turn it? Or
I turned it the other direction. So this direction, I'm 1 for 1. Oh no, 0 for 1.
Oh, no, that was just a misfeed. It's not taking it in at all, so you're just not putting it in right there. So this is the biggest hassle with this unit, and it has more to do with the dollar and the technology about the dollar than it does Bitcoin, right?
This isn't like, damn, Bitcoin won't accept my bill. It's like, oh, it's
having good luck with this. I mean, I've had like crisp new bills been spit out by this receiver before,
and it doesn't accept $2 bills. I should mention that.
No $2 bills, no doubt.
Right.
The poor $2 bill.
I think it takes 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, and 50s. Is that right?
I'm winning.
I think it can take a $100 bill too.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, you're doing great. I would be very interested to see if my machine behaved in the same way.
I don't know. People at the store have a lot of success. It works every time.
But I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause maybe it's just me. I don't know.
It hasn't been.
There haven't
I
been
would be
too many
really-
sales, though.
No, but I would be pretty embarrassed if someone.
Okay, so obviously there's a use issue here where I can't get a refund. So I'm 100% locked in, so I better want these Bitcoins. And I better not let it go to sleep or anything, too. That could be bad.
That's a good point about change, Thomas, because someone comes in with a $20 bill, $20 worth of Bitcoin, they better change it first before feeding it in, because it's not like you can feed in a 20 and say, I only want $15 worth of Bitcoin. With this machine, you get as much Bitcoin as you've put in dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that needs to be explained to people. They're not used to that. That's not something they're prepared for. So.
No, I understand. You would want change sometimes. You don't want to put the full amount in. Anyway, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
The purse.io thing yet?
No. What is it?
So Roger Ver posted on his Facebook a little while ago that he had just purchased something using Bitcoin through Amazon with this website purse.io. And so we're probably familiar with gift.com, where you get the 3% discount when you buy gift cards with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This thing is
15%.
This takes that to the next level. What they're doing is they're selling Bitcoin to people by allowing them to use your Amazon wish list to buy things for you on Amazon. So, for example,
I get it. So I've got a Bitcoin, or I've got an Amazon wish list, and it's linked at derekj.me. So if people are like, what do I get Derek for Christmas? Oh, that's easy. You just go to derekj.me, find the Amazon wish list, and then you can buy me gifts there. So, but now people can buy me things in Bitcoin?
So here's how it works. You can also do this with Amazon gift cards, is what I've done. But you could, if you want a PlayStation 4, you can put that on there, whatever it is that's on Amazon that you want to buy.
Okay.
Put it on your wish list, and then you go to purse.io and you connect your wish list to their site. It gives you a price in Bitcoin that you send to purse.io, and then they hold that as the escrow agent. So I put in $100 gift card as the item that I wanted from Amazon, and then it says, all right, well, you need to deposit this many millibits into our account. And what they do is they put that on a marketplace. So when you go in there, you can look at who's got Bitcoin available, right? So basically what they're doing is they're putting that Bitcoin that I've put in there up for bid. And what I do is I tell them, okay, this is the percentage discount that I want. So the $100 gift card, I wanted 20%. I want to get that $100 gift card for about $80 worth of cash.
Got it.
I want to sell $80 worth of my Bitcoin, essentially, to get that $100 gift card.
Yeah.
And so if somebody sees that on the marketplace and they say to themselves, well, I really badly want Bitcoin as soon as possible, and I don't want to go through Coinbase, and I don't want to go through, whatever other hassles sort of method to get Bitcoin, they can go on to this site and they can look at the amounts that are available. So it's not just me, it's all these other people around the world who are willing to sell this amount of Bitcoin.
Sure.
This person can then go and buy that Bitcoin by using their credit card. By buying you that item off of your wish list.
Oh, how clever.
You get your item on the wish list at the discount rate that you wanted.
Yeah.
So I got a $100 gift card for about $83 worth of Bitcoin from this. Now it takes some time. It takes some time, right? So if you have a high amount of a discount, like mine was 20%, it might take longer to find a buyer, because that person's paying, above the price of Bitcoin, that percentage, in order to get Bitcoin with credit card.
How long did it take you?
I put mine up at like 30% first, because I wanted to see if anyone would bite, and then I lowered it down to like 25%, and then no one bit, and then I lowered it again, and then after I lowered it to 20, I think somebody bit that like within 24 hours.
Cool.
And the site itself will guarantee you, if you do just like 10% or less, they guarantee that someone will buy that, or the site itself will go ahead and fulfill the order. It's really impressive.
That's amazing. So I've got an explainer video that we've been playing in the background on mute, and it looks like, we've got the examples of people putting things on their Amazon wish list, and then this looks like what we're seeing is someone buying it through the purse.io website. And I guess they would be using their credit card, and
That's correct.
you would be sending your Bitcoin to the site, and it's sort of held in escrow at purse.io, and then they negotiate that exchange a little bit? Or the
Basically,
website
yeah.
does?
So the product was sent. In this case, I got a physical gift card in the mail. It was shipped very quickly. Amazon does like 1-day shipping on
What's
that.
the point of that? Why would you want a physical gift card?
Well, because I didn't want anything specifically from Amazon at that moment.
Yeah.
But I know I'm shopping at Amazon, so you get that gift card, you load up the amount into your Amazon account, and then it's there for you. So whenever
Yeah.
I go to Amazon, I've got that $100 gift amount. And in fact, I bought some peace flags today with that amount. But I didn't know I needed the peace flags at the time that I did this. And when you buy something from Amazon, you don't want to really wait. So that's why I went with the gift card option. But if it's something that you want off in the future that you're not in a rush for, you could ask for a higher discount and wait until somebody bites on that, and then get whatever you're wanting on Amazon at like 20% off. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, that is really great. That's a great story, and I love to hear this so that more merchants are aware that they can accept Bitcoin as an option. They can do it all sorts of different ways. And Amazon, speaking of merchants who should be accepting Bitcoin,
Yeah.
for years now, and they're not getting any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the money that these companies, Purse.io and Snapcard, and just regular Joes who are buying things in the way that Purse.io was doing, but without the website. All the money that's been made, and Amazon hasn't gotten a single dime of it. They should just accept Bitcoin already.
I found myself wondering what the legality is of like reselling Amazon gift cards, because at the discounted rate you can get on an Amazon card on this, in theory you could resell them at a higher value. So
And just do it again.
Yeah, so if you bought one at $80, or you spent $80 worth of Bitcoin on it, you could resell that for $90 and make $10, and But then again, you've got the shifting rates of Bitcoin, and how would that factor in, and would it really make it worthwhile to do that?
Well, you're taking on risk.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be for an entrepreneur to find out.
I've got better things to do.
Yeah.
But it's an idea.
Yeah, that is one.
So there's my story.
Well, a good story, and I don't have any special Bitcoin stories except for that yesterday someone used it at the store, and I was really happy about that because he just seemed like a regular guy. He was really happy to use it, and I like the trust aspect of it too. Like, I don't know.
I wonder how he knew that he could go in there and buy with Bitcoin.
I don't know that he did know when he came in. It
He
seems
might have
like
seen the logo.
it seems like he saw the logo on the door.
That's a question you want to ask.
How did you know we accept Bitcoin? I just wanted to play like, oh, this is just, it happens every day. And this is just, part of the daily process. But it wasn't. It was new and very cool and different. I hope he comes again and spends Bitcoin. He said he would.
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
So I'll ask him then. But thank you, Ian.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for making Bitcoin more available for Keen.
Sure thing.
Cheers. What have we got next up, Thomas? Looks like you're showing us something from a...
We do have a story from Paige. Paige writes in, the last time that Bitcoin was on the rise around 420 was a year ago. We were partying at Andreas Antonopoulos' Bitcoin champagne party, and she met mad Bitcoins. How about that? A year ago. I like that story. Let's see what else is going on. The price of Bitcoin is $424. Let's look at the chart.
Wow.
We are bouncing back up again. If we zoom in some more, it was looking like to me that we had already hit right here a 1 and a 2. That's a double bottom at around 411, 412 earlier.
So what should I be doing, Thomas? Should I be buying or selling?
And then we hit a top of 429, and now we are scrolling back up.
So what does this mean? Buy, sell, hold?
I don't know. It depends where you bought. If you bought down here, then you should sell a little because you've made money. Like if you're still holding on forever, then you should still keep holding on forever. I mean, if you want to buy, like Ian was saying, buying something at Amazon with gift or whatever that new one you guys are saying is, I've forgotten already.
Purse.io.
Purse.io. You could get a discount. So I always like to buy something when the price goes up, although I don't feel like buying anything right now. But maybe there's something you've been keeping your eye on. Now's not a bad time. So, but then of course the price could go up more. So.
So what's the story about this Raoul Pal guy saying that Bitcoin's going to be $100,000?
Are we really going to just give it all to that guy? Because before we went into this tailspin, the Drapers said much the same thing. The Drapers, Brock Pierce, many other Bitcoiners, everyone said it's going to be $1 million, it's going to be $100,000. But this new guy says it, we're all believing it now, huh?
No, I don't give it to him. But I mean, that's we're speculating on why the price went suddenly up today. I've got nothing other than some guy said that they're worth a lot of money. Who is this guy? This Raoul Pal. Here it is from CoinDesk.com. Headline: Raoul Pal thinks the Bitcoin price will be $100,000 or even $1 million by Caleb Chen. Oh no, this isn't CoinDesk. This is CryptoCoinsNews.com.
Yeah, I met that guy. He's real.
What, CryptoCoins News?
Yeah, Caleb Chen. Met that guy in Vegas, wherever I was.
Real person.
Real person.
In Vegas.
Confirmed.
One fund manager thinks Bitcoin could be worth $1 million after some envelope back analysis from a while ago. Former macro investor group manager Raoul Pal has been predicting Bitcoin's price in comparison with gold for over a year now. So, okay, despite asserting that Bitcoin could be worth $100,000 or even $1 million each, Pal still only suggests that users follow the old adage, only invest what you can afford to lose.
Dun dun dun!
Pal has been saying the same thing about Bitcoin since before its most recent price spike. Last year, Pal sent a newsletter to the global macro investor group with a simple trade recommendation. Quote, buy Bitcoin.
Oh.
If you stuck $5,000, this is a quote from Pal, if you stuck $5,000 into Bitcoin, and each Bitcoin did go up to a gold equivalent of, let's say, only 100 ounces of gold, not the potential fair value of 700. Wow, that's quite a lot. Then at current prices, your Bitcoin stash would be worth $3.3 million.
Oh, okay, so, Derek, let's just go right with it. What would you do if you had $3.3 million right now?
Man, I don't know. I would give it to Ross Ulbricht. Because
that's nice, but it won't be enough.
Oh, come on. I thought money wins freedom.
I would pay off my credit card debt. Let's see, get a Prius, move to San Francisco. I don't know, the World Crypto Network. I would give them some money.
You mentioned what would I do, and the answer really is I would give it to Ross Ulbricht. I want him out of jail and people like him to succeed.
Yeah, we got to split it up into percentages. You can't give it all to Ross. You got to split it up. So.
Okay, he gets 99%, and I'll buy a big bag of weed with the other.
Oh, the big bag of weed.
I did. I did.
You could get 100 tacos. Think about how many tacos you could get for $1 million.
I did throw a dance party for Ross Ulbricht recently for his benefit. He wasn't able to attend, of course, he's in prison. But the goal was to raise some money for him, and we did that. I haven't written a blog post about it, and shame on me, really.
I've seen lots of pictures of this party, but you're right, no blog post.
Sorry, man. I've been working at a porcupine thrift store, trying to do my talk shows and stuff.
That sounds much worse than you think it does. You've been working at a porcupine thrift store? Did they strap the porcupine to you?
No, man. It's just owned by porcupines. Anyway, Lynn Ulbricht, help me get in touch with Lynn Ulbricht. I need to send this money over there. We raised about $500. I'm really happy about it, and at least it's going to do something. It's not $3.3 million, but as far as legal defense goes, that's his only hope that I see. That and maybe jurors saying well, wait, what's this guy charged with, and who is he? Maybe they've heard about the story. I don't know. I just have hope.
And don't forget absurdity. There's now 2 Dread Pirate Roberts, and presumably a third one on the way. And at a certain point, isn't this just ridiculous? Why do we keep busting these drug-selling websites? A lot of the country, these drugs are legal. I don't know what's going on here.
So exactly, it would be free, and that's what I would do with $3.3 million. So yeah, I don't hand it to Raoul Pal. He's been saying this. Lots of people have been saying this. I don't think they base their numbers on anything. He says, oh, it's a back-of-the-envelope calculation. I think that's baloney. He's just pulling up a really big number, like, oh, it's 700 ounces of gold. No, you're just saying Bitcoin should be $1 million because I think that's a good round number.
There you go. Good idea. I think it should be $1 million.
Okay, and watch the price soar.
I quoted that. I've said that. Now it's true. Look, 425. It went up a whole dollar since I said that.
Well, speaking of, when you're looking at the price at the store, we use BitcoinAverage.com. What do you use?
Well, this is Bitcoin Wisdom right here. I use this because it has all the funky lines. Look at all these lines everywhere.
That's attractive to me, but it could be confusing and disorienting to potential customers.
I like WinkDex. It's nice and plain looking.
WinkDex.
Owned by the Winklevi.
Oh, really?
So cool. They have their own iPhone app, their own Android app, and now their own website. But look at that volume. You can see right away, like, we haven't had big volume like this since back here in October 6th.
Like early October 5th and 6th.
We had a big drop down to 300, and we had big selling volume. But now this is big buying volume here. Look at that big jagged line upward. Crazy. Let's zoom in. Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
Or is that an audio responsive app, or I'm just saying that?
I'm just saying that because it's funny to me. So there it is, 363, and now 418. Down here, 330s. It's a big sale on Bitcoin. I don't know. Not anymore. Sale is closed. Anyone out there want to ask a question? Send in your questions now. Anyone like to call in at Bitcoin Talk Show, all one word on Skype. What else is going on, Derek?
Well, I'm checking out CoinDesk.com here, and I'm seeing a lot of articles. Mostly, I want to see more hardware development stories. Like, I don't know if you heard about that device that could be used. You plug it into your computer. I guess you plug it into your network connection, like an Ethernet port or something, and it puts everything through Tor. Like, I don't know. I'm explaining it very poorly, but I'm a layman, so what do you want? It's basically
I have heard about that. They were having a Kickstarter project, and basically you would hook your network router up to it, and it would route all of your traffic through Tor, so that everything you do would be encrypted. And it sounded really cool, but then it also sounded like the government had shut that project down because it would be way too easy to use, and it would make things so difficult for them. Like the current thing where the iPhones are now encrypted is a big problem for the government, and they've had several hearings about it, and they've basically said, we can't decrypt criminals' phones now. This is unfair. Unfortunately, it seems like it's going to remain that way because if you want to protect everyone's phone, you have to also protect the criminal's phone. And that's the long debate on this.
headline.
You're flipping in and out.
Well, what have we got on Ethereum lately? I haven't seen or heard anything.
Ethereum, well, I don't have the article up, but I'll tell you that the Counterparty people recently implemented Ethereum in Counterparty. So the Turing complete scripting language has been copied and implemented inside of Counterparty. And of course, these sidechains guys say that they can do all three. They can do Counterparty, they can do Ethereum, they can do MaidSafe, they can do anything. They're sidechains. So it's heating up out there. It's popping and rocking for Ethereum. They better get release something, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, have we seen or heard anything? One of the things we were talking about on Free Talk Live this week is the concept of open bazaar and free markets, which you can use through NXT. Now, I've been trying to use this NXT wallet. I don't know if it's just, I don't know if I've got old software or something, but I can't load the whole blockchain. It's been taking days, literally days. And I know that's the case for some of these blockchains. You have to download them for days. But I get concerned that it's not doing anything after a while. And at
They
least
need to really emphasize the torrent option. They need to tell you can use torrents, you can download the torrent, you can put the file in this directory, and just put that all up front, because that is a faster way to get it if you have a decent internet connection.
good point. So NXT has this new add-on feature called Free Markets. And apparently it's a small download. You could just download it, add it to your client. You run the client, and then it's this little add-on feature. And it's basically a competitor for eBay. Same with OpenBazaar. Is that these are places where you can, in this case, you would spend NXT. It wouldn't be Bitcoin. It would be an alternative currency called NXT. And I think that OpenBazaar uses Bitcoin, although I'm not sure that either is in operation yet. But these are the ideas is that they're decentralized online exchanges, that they would be eBay but in torrent form. So you couldn't knock one node out and then kill the whole system as you can with the Silk Road. With open market or with free market and OpenBazaar, it's a lot like file sharing, where if someone's got a piece of the network open, it's going to stay alive as long as there's someone still there.
It sounds very cool, but it's going to be very difficult to code these things, and the problem is there's not going to be money in it. The money in eBay is in the fees, and you're giving up the fees when you run the open system. But if they can get it running, it'll be amazing.
But there are fees with the NXT system. It costs about, I guess it's pretty nominal, though. It's like 7 cents or something to list. You know, there were fees associated with Namecoin as well. When you want to reserve a domain or purchase domains, there was a fee associated with that, I think about 7 cents also. So, yeah, who cares? These fees are 7 cents. I mean, big deal.
Not enough for the developers to live on.
Exactly right. Okay, so that's the update on Ethereum and Bitcoin 2.0 stuff. The price continues to go up. I'm excited about that, but I don't quite know why. What about where's it going to stop, Thomas? You got any ideas on that? 600?
Never.
Never. Yeah, good answer.
No, it feels good now. Over 400 again.
What are you doing? Are you buying? You selling?
I'm holding
Okay.
most of what I got. I mean, I sold a little to pay bills, and I've got a little bill paying money, but no, generally it's all Bitcoin. So.
What about this event happening in Singapore? Are you following this at all?
The Hong Kong protests are still going on, right? It's been about a month. I'm not sure what's going on in Singapore. They're having the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah, exactly. They're having a cryptocurrency conference. I guess it happened already, November 4th.
Well, if it's anyone like the one that I attended, there was lots of free drinking. So.
Really? That doesn't sound good.
Everything at these conferences gets done afterwards in these networking sessions. You really could just hang out front of them and wait for your guy to pass and then go make friends with him really quick, and boom, you're in. You just need to know where the parties are. And you just go from party to party to party. And I don't even think you really have to go to the conferences.
Is that how these conferences work? That actually makes a lot of sense.
That's how it works.
Whenever I go to these conferences, yeah, it does seem a lot like that. Like, yeah, I'm interested in what people have to say, but I'm more interested in hanging on the floors in the market, in the open air space where people can talk about their products or their.
That's the place. I used to try to attend and go see speakers, but now no one cares about speakers anymore. It's just all this networking.
Well, speakers, yeah, I think so part of that, now I know people who have organized conferences, and I think sometimes when they choose speakers, they're like, yeah, I don't care what you say, I just want you there, right? So it's not about the speeches, it's about having the opportunity to network with these people. They should ditch the speeches altogether. I want the first unconference that has no speeches, just parties.
No, you need the speeches, gets people talking. Plus, what you need is the free drinks and
No.
the double drinks. I also learned that in Vegas, everyone should know a drink should be a 3 count, like a 1, 2, 3. If your drink is a 6 count or more, that's a double. You should know that.
I know nothing about drinks and drinking.
Well, now you know, Derek. 1, 2, 3 is a 3 count, and that's what your drink should be.
That sounds dangerous. I want to caveat for the listeners that alcohol is a very hard drug, and I don't recommend it to anyone.
It's no good. Don't tip me any change tips about alcohol. I'll have to drink it all.
I don't know what that dollar means.
This is Alexander Hamilton.
Was he a drunk?
Maybe. He was probably not. He was pretty conservative. He shot that guy, Aaron Burr. They had a duel. He was killed by him. And
very nice. I guess it was consensual, though. New Zealand central bank, quote, not threatened by Bitcoin's rise.
Tatiana is down in Australia and New Zealand these days.
Really? For what?
I think they're having a Bitcoin conference out there, and they're having Tatiana and Andreas Antonopoulos.
Well, she's doing it wrong if the central bank doesn't feel threatened. The central bank should feel threatened.
I'm sure they'll be threatened after she sings her song, but until then.
This is what the Spencer guy, he's the deputy governor. He says, quote, I do not doubt that future digital currencies will become more realistic substitutes for cash.
They're not realistic enough now. It's a realism gap.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're not afraid. Notably from November Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin South in the resort town of Queenstown. New Zealand is often noted for having one of the world's most liberal economies, usually placing it in the top 5 of the World Index of Economic Freedom, along with Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and Switzerland. Interesting.
Let's see. Before we go, we should play some videos. How about some videos?
Let's end on a video.
All right, so here we go. This is our friend, Derek and I's friend Tatiana, going skiing at the Money 2020 conference. No. Look like you're skiing.
Wow, she looks great. Yeah, this looks like a practical alternative to skiing.
Up those poles. Go, go, go. Woo! Yeah.
Man, it's so hard to show people new technological stuff. It's so funny to me. Like, you know, we could look at old videos and pictures from World's Fair type things back in the day and look at people trying to figure out telephones or smartphones or whatever. But, like, seeing new technology stuff always cracks me up. Like, oh, yeah, let me use this fake track and field style mat.
I gotta tell you, at that convention, it was such a competition to get people to come to your booth. Like, certainly BitPay had hired some attractive women, and they were telling you about their booth. But what really did it at the BitPay booth is they had this magician come up and start doing sleight of hand right in front of you. So he was like folding back the dollar bills, and they were turned into $100 bills in front of you. He was flipping around a Casasius coin and popping out of the ear and out of here, and right behind there. And then he did a whole even more illusionist thing. So the competition at those booths is fierce, And you really got to think outside the box. Hiring a magician, hiring an illusionist, a brilliant move by BitPay.
Yeah,
So,
they are brilliant.
yeah, totally pro move by BitPay's PR people, whoever you are. Great work. And also, good
I have
parties.
something before we wrap up, too. I want to mention, I forgot to announce that there's another store in Keene accepting Bitcoin this week. I want to thank Local Burger for accepting Bitcoin. I've been asking them to accept Bitcoin for literally months, and finally some other customers went in. They were like, hey, we're nerding out here every week. Can you please accept Bitcoin for us? And they said yes. Now they accept it finally. So
Aww.
I think that makes almost 10 stores in Keene that accept Bitcoin. So take that, California.
Oh, very cool, Derek. Very cool. Putting California to shame.
Yeah, man.
Definitely to shame. But we have one more video before we go out. This is the outtakes from Tatiana's interviews at Money 2020. It was very funny.
You could say Jin Young Lee England with the like flow sweater.
Jin Young Lee?
Jin Young England is like awkward.
Jin Young Lee England? Oh my god. Jesus
I
Christ.
know, I have the longest leg in the world.
I know. Okay, great.
It's not, you can just call me Jay. I'm just kidding.
I considered it. Okay. Hi everyone, this is Tatiana Moroz with Bitcoin Magazine, and I'm here with...
That was awesome.
Okay, good
We're going to
job.
have really fun bloopers.
Okay, so hopefully.
Alright, buddy.
Alright, cool.
And we're still rolling.
Alright, that's fine.
Was this you filming, Thomas?
Alright, rock and roll.
Were you filming?
Get on the job, buddy. What are you doing?
Were you the one recording for Bitcoin Magazine in that case?
Yeah, I was recording. We were sharing Bitcoin Magazine, World Crypto Network working together.
Excellent. I'd like to see more collaboration. How's it been going with the World Crypto Network? I've been out of the scene for a while. Everything
It was
good?
going good. I mean, we haven't heard from James Bang in a couple of days. Not too pleased with that.
That's not good.
Yeah, maybe he just took some time off. I'm not sure what he's doing. So I haven't heard from him. I heard that Chris Ellis has gone rogue, and that he's not going to keep appointments anymore because he's going to be traveling around. So he's not going to be able to do shows on a schedule. That's what he said. So we'll see how that goes. I'd like him to still show up to shows.
No, he should do Justin TV style thing. It should be Chris Ellis TV, and he just pops onto the internet whenever he wants and says stuff. I would follow it.
He's definitely building that kind of energy these days. So we've got Chris doing that. We just got into the Money 2020 convention. Unfortunately, we only got one press pass instead of two press passes, and they were not at all flexible about getting us a second one. So that kind of stopped our coverage plans there. So that's why we kind of had to work with Tatiana there, because Blake was not allowed into the conference.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, it was. Well, we were all upset at the time, but it was a protocol error on our fault. We didn't ask for two passes. We filled out a form. We thought we had asked for two passes, but we made a mistake. I made a mistake. And then when we got there, we asked them to be flexible, and they were not capable of being flexible. So it was a combination of problems that led us to that. So, yeah, coverage wasn't what we wanted it to be in Vegas. I don't know, working a lot with people, trying to get the word out. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad. Life goes on. We make mistakes. Everything's okay.
Yep. And hopefully if Nick Pi Rebel is ever around again, we'll do a World Crypto Network book club. We just had a request. Someone wants us to finish Neuromancer, and I'd like to finish Neuromancer too. I've moved on. I'm reading Douglas Copeland's latest book, Worst Person Ever. It's a great book. It's very fun.
Excellent.
So,
And that's Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern?
that's Wednesdays or Thursdays in the evening, whenever Nick's available, but Nick hasn't been available for a couple of weeks, so we've been off the schedule on that one.
Keep the book club going. Keep that alive. I think
No, we need somebody else to either step in and read part 3 of Neuromancer, or we need Nick to come back, because otherwise it's me talking to myself.
one of those things will happen, and even if it was just you talking to yourself, I think that'd be fun to watch too.
Yeah, I just have to go on to the next books, though. I can't stick with this old book, man.
Just move on. Speaking of moving on, let's do that. we'll be back next week to cover the best in Bitcoin news. I want to thank you, Thomas, for being here, holding it down at madbitcoins.com. And people can check me out at derekj.me.
Very cool. Bye-bye.